Hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning into a special edition SC Sports World, our hometown heroes. I'm your host, Luther Dupree, joined, as always, by my partner in crime, Mike Vick.
Greetings.
How you doing, Mike Vick? And we have two special guests. I'm going to let Mike Vick do the introductions for this.
It's indeed an honor to introduce such talented people and good people. This is the Queen, Miss Charlotte, one of the most talented and humble and totally gifted individuals I've really had the pleasure of being around. And beside her is her man, the king, Brother Mobutu. They are the owners and founders of MOKA, which is on the Hill District. I don't give people the address. That's how profound the work that they did on their building is. I mean this in my heart. I tell people about their work, of course. They said, where is that? I said, well, you know how to get to the Hill District? I said, you know about Dinwiddie and to get on Center Avenue? Make a right. And you follow. You don't have to follow until you see a building that calls you. And everybody has found it. No, I'm serious. No, that's heavy, brother. That's why I wanted to have them here, because they're helping me with the journey I'm taking as a poet in our culture. That everybody needs to see what the creativity they have, the beauty they have, that they show what people we come from. It's an honor for me today to bring them here. And I'm not going to talk too much because they have a lot to tell you about their journey. She's a trained artist who was in New York doing great things. This man cuts trees down and make things so realistic. And I'm married, I'm happily married. He made the thing that was so full of the breast and make me want to go home and say, hi, honey. But anyway, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
What an intro.
That was a different intro, Mike.
But that's
I like
real,
that.
brother. See, what God has me at now, it's not a whole bunch of words. You don't have to rhyme. I'm a poet. It has to be real and you feel it. The audience feel it, but you think you feel something now. Please go to MOKA.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mike. We grew up in Crestus Terrace.
Okay.
So he's my Crestus brother.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right.
That's special.
Yes, ma'am.
This was a little town right over the Westinghouse Bridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Take that turn and go up there, and it's a little enclave of homes of black folks. So we grew up in our own kind of culture. We knew that we couldn't do but so much, or your
Right.
mama gonna hear about it. You know, it was that sort of thing with one church and a tiny little community center and Miss Ward's little store. So it was the kind of place where you just grow up just knowing how to treat people, because you believe in that concept of do unto others as others would do unto you. So I was there. I left Crestus when I was around 18.
Okay.
And prior to that, though, I was going down to the Hill District sometimes. We would sneak down there, go to the grill.
Sneak down to the hill.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We go to the Hill District, and I
Center
was
of the universe.
heard,
Center of the universe.
yeah, the center of the universe, where Mo's from. And I met some musicians, and of course, up at Crestus, we weren't so much into music and that kind of stuff. But when I met like Kenny Fisher and then I met Dingbat and Timor and Thaddeus Mosley, and started going down to the Hill District, and that's when I was first introduced to art. Prior to that, I can remember being discouraged from doing art by a teacher I had.
Yes.
Oh,
at
well,
the
how did
school.
she what do you mean discouraged? What did she say?
Because I said that I wanted to be an artist, and she said, "No, that's not good. You know, don't try to be an artist."
Not
But
for you.
I didn't. Thank God I didn't listen.
Yeah,
Right.
Thank God. The world thanks
Yes,
God because
yes.
the art you make. What
Because the school didn't have that much of art. You didn't get a lot of
program.
art.
Okay.
A lot of times we would get it from when I lived in West Mifflin, because I lived in West Mifflin prior to coming to Crestus.
Okay.
We moved to Crestus when I was 16. No, I was 12. I was 12 when we moved to Crestus. My grandfather built this big house down in this valley. Unfortunately, it burnt down, but he built a 13-room house.
Yeah.
And one child.
That's
But that's where we grew up, in this big house that had outside, we had chickens, and we had hogs, and we had a well. We had to get water from a well, A stove, potbelly stove to keep warm. Oh God.
Yeah, they moved on up.
Even an outhouse.
Yeah, moved the
So-
outhouse
so-
in the house. That was doing good.
Yes.
So, Mr. Mobutu, just talk about your movements in the art field. How did you get involved,
Yeah.
and when did you start?
I'm a product of the Hill District during the early 40s.
Okay.
I was born at a time when my grandmother was the absolute ruler. Come out of Gastonia, North Carolina. My great-grandparents, Salmon and McGill, and my grandfather. He had to leave the South kind of early because of legal problems. And we migrated here to Pittsburgh. My first recollection about the culture was my grandmother. She could make something out of nothing, you know, like magic. That's probably my first inkling into what it was to create something, you know. So we lived in a house with 3 uncles, my aunt, and her kid and husband. They slept in one room upstairs. We had the front room, my mother,
Okay.
my father, me and my big brother. Sally had the front room. Miss Gloria had the biggest front room because she worked and made the most money. And in the middle room, we had the potbelly stove and kitchen behind that and a little coal room back
Okay.
there, you know. In the yard in the garage full of wood, we used to bust that up and for firewood and keep the stove going. All this was creativity. This is part of what I see that I've been privy to have that's missing in the community now, our culture.
Okay.
So culture got me through a whole lot of different things because when I didn't have, I made something up.
Okay. You made something up.
And he's creative.
I made something up.
You said even your name. Now, talking before you said even your name.
Yeah, I made
Now,
that
how-
up too. Yeah, Webster can do it, I can too.
Right.
So you put a label on my butt, man.
And what did you say? You gave it a meaning to Mobutu.
Yeah, I made it mean to form alliances, to be a part of, to be conducive to something involving total creativity. And that, in that aspect, see, you have to wake up those juices. See, we've been put asleep culturally. We don't even have a land, we don't have a language, we don't even have our own money, you know. So those are things, aspects come from a rich, viable culture.
Exactly right.
And that culture thing is the thing that's missing, not through gentrification, because when I came through the hill back there early in the 50s, when I was realizing, hey, I was a human being, standing behind the door in my grandmother's house crying. And that's when I first realized I was a person. And I was crying about, because it was hot outside, and my grandmother said, come in here and put these short pants on. And so I put the short pants on. I didn't want nobody to see my legs, so you stand in that corner.
Well, one of the things that we want to thank you while we have
Well,
you here at
it's
Hometown Heroes is to thank you for keeping our rich culture alive, and that's what you have done with your art. And one of the reasons, like with Hometown Heroes, and we developed this, were people like you who reach back and bring people with you. So I want to commend you for the programs that I know that you're implementing and you're part of there in the Hill District, even today, even though you have your own business, that you're teaching kids the beauty of taking something and making something out of it and seeing our culture in it, something that we need to, even if I get to the point where I get a lot of money again, the only goal I'll get now is the goal that I have for my wedding band. We need to embrace our culture. We need to let you know this us, for real.
That's true.
For real. And if you want to wear it, it shows you want to be like us. Everybody want to be like Mike. See, that's what they let you say, like Mike. What was that thing like us? Y'all been, pay attention. The stuff that sister, that they make is so rich because it comes from their creativity. And then we come from a culture, I am because we are. When she was talking about Crescents, I got kind of humble because that rich place, that little small hill that you come up to, has produced some of the greatest athletes, authors, artists. Why? Because we lift each other up. And this is what they still doing today. It's an honor to be around rich businesses. I want to shake it. He's all the time. I shake his hand all the time. Why? And I was telling him, he smiled. Go ahead, Vick, go ahead. Man, let some of that greatness rub off on me. And he does. When you have greatness, you don't mind sharing it. These are great, humble people. They wasn't going to tell you or mention, the things that they do in the community and have been.
Right.
And have. But this ain't no new news to them. Now it's the new thing to do, like you down. They've been down. And their work is profound. So I'm telling
You know what?
everybody.
Speaking of their work, I think we have some
Yeah,
pictures.
let's show, so
can we
that
show
way
some of those
they can
pictures?
understand
Yeah.
why, what perplexed me. I'm into black art.
That was, these are some pictures I pulled from the
Great.
website.
Oh, yeah.
And you all could talk about them.
Now, what I like to do is just ask you, what inspired, the greatness, because you have to have, like a type of brain to
What's that?
start there. So I know y'all collaborate together, some of your work and his work. So how did y'all come up with that concept?
That's not our work there.
No, that's not.
No, I'm
Oh,
talking
no,
about,
that's-
see,
oh,
he's
that's
going
a-
too fast.
That
I
was,
see.
I'm talking
some
about
work
the
that
building
was
I
in
told
our-
you that MOKA spoke to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what y'all done. I know that. I'm saying like y'all work
We
together.
had an art show.
Okay.
We had an art show at MOKA. And
Yeah.
this is some of the examples of art.
Right.
Mostly by the women of visions. We called it the king and queens of,
Is that Emmett Till, I believe, right?
That's Emmett Till. That's Mary Martin's work.
Okay.
She's a great ceramicist,
yeah.
and that's her work there
Trayvon.
too.
Trayvon Martin.
Yeah, Trayvon.
Yeah.
Trayvon Martin there. She's a wonderful ceramicist. Now what? Can't see.
That show was so long ago. I don't
Not
recognize.
sure who's. Oh,
the
that's
artist
Mo
there.
with.
There's Mo, on it. So you did drums and all
Yes,
that too?
Well, I was on the road for 11 years. I was with Grant Green, George Benson, Archie Shep.
And that's.
And see, now you was a
Charlie
youngster.
Lytle,
So, but
George
that
Benson,
was
all those
musical
guys.
royalties they told you
Okay.
about.
That's
You know.
that's Mo's work there.
That's Mo, okay.
Well, that's
What's
just
the title
I
of
have
it,
a
Mo?
part of it.
Right. Those were just some pictures I pulled from the
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Facebook page and on the website.
yeah.
But we
Okay.
also have, you all had an interview that I was able to pull as well.
Oh,
From
yes.
New York.
With,
Yeah,
not the New York one.
Oh.
I think you were on BPTV. You guys have been all over the place. You all have so many interviews. But there's one, and it has
I don't
some
even
great
remember.
art.
Yeah, no.
But can we run that clip?
And
Drummer,
worth-
the Dupree drummer, they cut the head off because they thought I might have had some contraband in it. So when we came back,
in the Upper Hill District. It's beautiful, and I'd like Mo and Charlotte to tell us, why did you start up MOKA Art Gallery? What does it mean to you, and what are your plans?
We're here at the corner of Center and Soho.
we want to bring everybody into the fold here and create this vehicle so we relish and really want the participation of the community to come in, volunteer.
Yeah, that was just some of
Oh,
the
yes,
art
a
in there.
snippet.
Just a
And I
snippet.
feel honored because, this, besides being my neighbor, my friend, and just, they've given me so many pieces. I looked in one of the pieces there, he said, I gotta give you something that I did and signed it.
Oh.
And so to have, first of all, black art, which I think we should all have, but having work from the master, we need to know how to, generational wealth is understanding that this work that you can get for whatever the price be, is well worth investment, because this is world, and we got royalty. We have to understand the special gifts we have, and more. Not, and let me say this too. His head already big enough, and she knows what I feel about her. I mentioned I just got married. One of the reasons I got married, two of the reasons, was you and your wife. For a long time, I know that I watch, I study with you, and then being around them. Because
That's
them
probably
being
right.
the older, them being an older couple,
A plus.
and I'm older, I watch how he treats her. Not just the interaction when they be creative. That's something. But the queen is always, and she in charge. But she in charge quietly, and he know it, but he be running it. But that
Right,
was deep
right.
for me, because this man's a genius, but he knows the beauty of what he has.
Yeah, that's,
That's
how
right.
did you all,
Hey,
how
let me
did
tell
you
you
all, how
something.
did you all meet?
Hi, baby.
Well,
What
yeah.
was that?
That was we had known each other, in passing for quite a while. She
'Cause
had a
was
gallery.
18, she was coming down to the hill.
Oh
There
no,
was a man down to the
I
hill.
wasn't privy to that young
Oh,
tender
okay.
thing.
We a family show, so that's we a family, and we talk about
Yeah.
another thing. What of this program? And we will shout out about our program, Hometown Heroes, is to accent the positive. So again, if you have somebody who is doing something positive, please contact Luther and ourselves here at Still City Sports World, because we have to spread the good news.
Yeah.
The good news, we them people. And you are two of the most dynamic people. You know, I think about stuff, as you might tell. I've been around a lot of power couples. I've been around power couples who are strong in Christ. I've been around couples who are strong in music. But as far as creativity, it took me a minute. 'Cause I said, well, Beyonce and Jay-Z is a couple. They ain't bad as y'all. No, I'm serious. If you think about what's important for us,
Yes.
they ain't bad as y'all. And what they need to do, and they bad, is come submit to the king and queen,
Yeah,
and
that
then
would be
take
wonderful.
what they could do with that music, and take this culture he talk about, and we all right. That's what the
what we
purpose of
want
me
to-
saying out loud. It wasn't to put the blast on Beyonce and them. I get them chills when God, ooh,
But
when
see, that's how important family is. You notice when I started talking, I went back to my great
roots,
grandfather.
right.
Yes, God.
And that, they instilled in my parents all the way up through the line, is still here. And that lineage has been broken in a lot of families through slavery and because of necessity and one trying to escape from this, that, or the other. You know, because we couldn't combine and take low, because that'd have probably killed my cause. I could have taken that like that, but they did that so that we could be here to represent all of those things that they wanted us to survive.
Right.
So the value of a woman is the most important asset that a black man has.
Yeah.
Because she
Say it
is
again.
totally the queen.
And
Can't
the-
disrespect her. You have to nurture her and give her the things she needs, because without her, there is no you. And without you, her, and family, we become what? Extinct.
Here you go.
Right.
True, and you can
It's
see it
already
happening
written in
now.
history. Look at the Navajo, the Crow, the Apache, the Sioux, the Blackfoot, and so on, and so on, and so on. The Akans, the Congolese, and the South Africans, where they're not something they're called Zulus. They changed the name, well, all the way down, I took it all, but it's important to remember where the hell we came from and what they had to take for us to get here. And a woman, the most valuable thing we have is that woman. We can't let her go.
Right.
We can't let her be out there working for them. That's what they happened to us in the first place. They took grandma out first, you know, put her at a nursing home. And then that grandma was the one who
Was
kept
the key.
everybody in
Right,
check.
right.
You know, got rid of her, and then they replaced her with a television. Then here it comes, you know, the onslaught. So.
You see that now, like you said
I
about
had
the
to talk
grandma.
about what's really happening here. 'Cause
Right.
I'm not going to sit up here and try to put no sugar on it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
And
like
a
you
lot
say
of the
that.
sad things that are happening now is just this
Yeah, we
prison
need help.
system. You know, we
Our
just-
people need, we need
we,
to help
we
each
really
other.
do need help now, and with the too many guns, you know, that's what makes me really, really, really so terribly sad to see how often in Pittsburgh,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
place that grew up in, there was a lot of violence back then.
We fought.
When we were growing through, people loved each other and you respected one another, but now, I'm not blaming anybody except for the NRA, because they have allowed these guns to come in, and now, I saw an interesting statistic the other day. I was looking to see where are all these guns? What states have the most guns? And I was shocked at what I found out. Number one was Hawaii. Number two was New York for the least amount of guns.
Least.
Least.
Oh.
Yeah,
Not the
that's right.
most.
They don't play the.
The
Least legal.
least.
Least
Yes,
legal.
they don't
Hawaii,
play that gun thing.
I'm the Lulu
They-
too.
they don't
Well, they
play
give
it.
you, see, the
But
thing about it,
anyway,
in New York, as
do
far
the-
as, they give you some time. You
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
you
remember
get,
that
yeah.
guy-
Mexico
automatic
Bird
time.
shot
Clock
himself.
Shot
in
himself,
82 months.
remember?
But,
Yeah,
but,
right.
but, but you know,
But
like when
anyway,
you,
the arts,
Yeah,
Go
but,
ahead.
but
I'm sorry.
the arts can be the antidote.
see, that's another thing. We want MOKA to be a place where where folks can come and talk about things, put things together, a gathering spot, if
Safe
you will.
gathering.
Yeah,
A safe
Because,
space.
yeah, I mean, you know, because once you get together, see, a thought is a very powerful thing. It can manifest into, you know, whatever, once it's exposed and to others to be a part of things. And so we've got to start somewhere. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
100,000 people to make something happen.
True.
It could be one or two or three, like that. But first
At
of all,
MOKA, we sort of had some setbacks because, well, first it was COVID,
Oh, yeah. Yes.
and then Mo had some physical things that happened to him.
I
with
had
the
3 back
car.
surgeries from building the subway downtown, the bus down the
filled out
subway.
his
All 3
stuff.
sections
Oh,
of my
wow.
wells down there.
So a lot of things we haven't been
Yeah,
able to
yeah,
accomplish, but we are at that point now.
well,
We have our,
talking
we
about
now
that was
got a
years ago.
501c3.
Okay, good.
Just got that, and we're in, it's sort of like a rebirth for us
Rebirth.
at this point now
Okay.
too, because it's been some setbacks that we've had, so that we haven't been able to accomplish just what we wanted to. We do our own work, but we haven't been able to spread it because of illness.
Okay.
Yes, because of illness.
So-
But now
so-
that he's feeling better,
Well, I broke my neck. I still got 3 screws in my neck.
yeah.
3 back surgeries and a pin in my left foot. But it's only the
You
8th
still
round.
driving and moving,
Hey,
Still
good.
doing it.
Wow,
He's
you're
still
still
doing
doing
The
it.
creator said, hey, get back in there. It's only the 8th round.
Right.
This is the
I look
15
at him and
rounder.
marvel at how he
That's
is
God,
able
man.
to.
That's
to-
the creator.
to Just get up and go.
Right.
Because
So-
prior,
So
you know,
tell me,
blessed.
so what are some goals that you all have over the next couple
in
years?
the next couple of years, yes, we want to be able to, first of all,
To be happy, man.
to spread our
And
joy
healthy,
of
that's
art.
happy.
The joy of art,
Yeah,
okay.
the joy of making art. I was fortunate in that I didn't have to pay for colleges and stuff. You know, I got scholarship, but a lot of times the kids are not able to do that now.
Okay.
And I want the kids to even think about other countries to study art. You know, they go up to Canada, Africa. They have some wonderful schools in Ghana.
Ghana.
When I was in Ghana, I was in wonderful universities where they had sculpture programs.
Yes.
But we don't think outside this box here, because you could be in here, in the United States and going to these expensive schools. I am an example. Even though I got mostly scholarships for the entire career, I went to one school that was expensive
Okay.
because I was working as a teacher in New York, and if you don't get a master's degree, you can lose your job.
Oh, wow.
So for
Okay.
2 years, I went to a college, I won't even name it, but I went to this college and it was expensive. I am still paying for that college now.
Oh, wow.
See,
Yes, I
we're
am.
talking about school loans now. We're
Yeah,
getting into
school
that.
loans, yeah.
It's,
I am
it's
still paying
making
for
it
it now.
strapping these
That's
kids.
why I think it's important to think outside the
Outside
box
the box.
sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Think about Canada, think
Yeah.
about schools
Different
in
alternatives.
Africa.
Other alternative
Cuba
ways.
has, anybody
Free
who wants
school.
to be a doctor can go to Cuba through the, it's the partners,
Partnership or,
it's the Pastors for Peace.
oh, okay.
They have a program, they're located down in DC. A kid can go to school in Cuba for free. The first year you spent learning Spanish, because everything's going to be in Spanish.
Spanish.
But from that point on, so you can become a doctor and not pay anything. So there's just ways to get accomplished
outside
what
the
you
box.
want. Yes,
Yeah.
and also Mo knows that children that or folks that study the trades
Right,
do
right.
pretty well too. So it's just, we want to have people know that the art can be anything. It could
Right.
be, you could be a poet, you could be a musician, all of it has to do with creativity and thinking
And art can
outside
just,
the norm.
and art can be used as a therapy, you know?
Sure,
You know,
certainly
you-
can.
instead of, exerting that anger
Yeah,
into someone
that's
else,
true.
you can, put in your art.
That's
you know?
right,
So
that's
that's, I've seen that.
And
I've
the
seen
skills
people
I-
that they do art therapy.
Yes.
And some of the kids I've sent to art
done
therapy,
a
and
lot
that's
of
been
that.
some of the most. Speak on that, art therapy.
Yeah, art therapy. When I was working with, that was back in the day, I was working with Maynard Jackson in Atlanta.
Okay.
I did a couple of residencies there in Augusta and Savannah, and then in the French Caribbean in Martinique. And then when I came back here, I started, because of the travels, I just got to say this. Because all the skills that I have, I'm willing to. Anybody who wants to ask, I'll give freely.
And you
you
do
have
that.
to get charged.
You've done
charge.
that.
I don't try to make no living off of what I know because it was a gift to me.
Right.
And
Right.
so I've had a chance to be, a lot of different things in life. I've acquired a lot of knowledge. Jazz musician with Grant Green for almost 10 years. Albums, George Benson.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't want to interject at all, but I wanted you to freely talk about what you want to. But every time I'm with you, and because as growing up in New York, you always tell me that, and which is quite true, that the Hill District was Pittsburgh's Harlem.
Yeah, it
And
was.
you knew
Yeah.
so many people. When I go around with you and you say, well, that's somebody's house. That was George Bishop used to be here.
Yeah,
That was
Turntine.
Stanton's house here. I mean, all the time. And he knows it. And then another thing,
Well, it's one of
I like
these,
when
yeah.
I write with him, when I'm with him, you gonna be, because he's the mayor here. You think they gave him the mayor?
Yeah.
He is the mayor.
The hill.
You think of the hill?
Yeah,
You
the
know what I'm
hill.
saying? Willie Starr, he gave away chicken because of him. I'm telling you, he was the man from the hill.
was my first
but listen,
job.
speaking of that, do we have the clip of him at the Crawford Grill at the end of the thing?
Oh, yeah, we definitely.
I want to surprise
Yeah,
you, man.
yeah,
wanna
I was
surprise you
watching,
because you do everything. Let me say it like this. Let me set it up like this. Nothing you do surprise me. But as we lost Franco, they had put his stuff on, and I had just left you. Nothing don't scare me because I know God got me. And so I had just left you at MOKA, and came and I'm home and turned the TV on, and it's this The Life of Franco. And of course, everybody respects Franco. And I get to watch the thing. I said, everybody, I look good.
Right.
That's Mo.
Yep,
So
yep.
please show. That's the.
Oh, yeah, can we show
I
that
got some
clip? Yeah.
famous friends. I ain't famous.
Which is off the ground. Ooh, that's improvisation.
Running to the music.
Franco Harris ran to the music.
One of our heroes.
Thanks.
Franco's.
He is
But
number
I
one
wish,
by far.
and I want you to also talk about your 50-foot thing that you built by MOKA. See, a lot of people sleep on. They think it's a tree. And I'm into art. I thought it was a tree because we ain't looking. That's what art makes me do. When you make a piece, it makes me look into it real good because you're missing some stuff. See, some more faces in there. It's some more African shields in there. And so I'm serious. This is why I tell you your building speaks to me.
Okay.
The stuff that it did, I got in front of your building and wrote a poem, that African in me, for MOKA. Oh, can't never do that. You know what done that? The combination of all that black art. You got the Sankofa book, and I know from going to take them classes. Let's look back to go forward. And something as we close up, you from Pittsburgh.
But I
you
gotta
from
say this.
Preston.
I gotta say this because that building is designed for our efforts. We told a good friend of ours, Chuck Culbertson, is our architect,
Okay.
who wrote that up because we wanted a place where we could do our art.
There you go.
And
It's
Chuck
a
drew
place.
that up. And so
It's a place for some of the most exquisite art
So I gotta have a shout out
that's
to
ever
Chuck
been
Culbertson
made
for
any
that.
place. But what I wanted to do, because I know you from Crescent, so you feel so good about the place that you were born or grew up in, and I was born. This is a tribute, and some of these names, though you're a little older than me, but some of these names, I want you to see if you remember this, and see if this is the place that we grew up. It's called Pittsburgh, the place of my birth, and more than likely, my place in the earth. In between being born and before dying, I will have done a lot of living in Pittsburgh. Now, I've had the pleasure of traveling quite a bit, but there's nothing more exciting to me than a Pittsburgh trip. For me, I'm on my way home, my first home, little tiny Crestus Terrace in North Versailles, PA. My hometown is small, but we are large in heart. It was there in Crestus that I got my start, and we did it all. Baseball, basketball, football, soccer, boxing, and track. Plenty of fighting in Crestus, and you better fight back. The Pittsburgh Jack-Up, and that was that. It was there in my childhood where I formed lifelong friends. Brothers I'm always happy to see again, those that we can. The likes of Chucky, Paul, Squeaky, Brandon, and Julian. That's just to name a few. I remember Taste and Ned and their Wild Irish Red. Nell, Derek, Big Mo, Victor, Pookie, Georgie, Ricky, Ollie, Stevie, Johnny, P-Wine, Gary, Bobby, Robert, Hank, Butchie, Ronnie, Early, Junebug, Terry, Marcus, Lamont, Bubby, Donnie, Baum, Rob, James, Andy, Jimmy, Winnie, Kenny, Rudy, Shelley, Lonnie, Bay Ray, Wayne, Zane, Barry, Harry, Larry, Billy, Rodney, Joey, Marvy, Stevie, Ouija, Deedle, Doodle, Little Mo, Cootie, Marshall, D, Leslie, Jerry, Alfred, Dalton, Glenn, Pookie, George, Junior Bill, Kevin, Bobby, Butter, Unky, Sad, Sam, Frank, Mike, Albert, Cephas, Oops, Humps, and question mark.
about
Ernie,
Mike?
hold on. Ernie, Tony, Kenny, Delmar, Claude, TC, Stan, and Petey. They were there too. And listen, my brothers, in case I miss you, don't take it personal. You know I know you too. This poem would let you brothers know I am who I am, in large part because good brothers like you, knowing and showing me the way. So hey, my brothers, let's make Christmas like it was back in the day.
All right. Hey.
See, those type of things that your
You named
art.
everybody, Mike. You ain't missed nobody.
I
all them names.
might have missed you. Listen, I didn't miss you because we didn't miss the love that we gonna bring back.
Yeah,
That's what this
yeah.
art does. This is what this program is for. This is Hometown Heroes because Pittsburgh, we're gonna bring back to our hometown where blacks used to be. And that's the love of God and ourselves. She mentioned the guns. The guns don't shoot nobody, we shoot guns. But we bring guns to our neighborhood. We got to police ourselves.
Yes.
We got to be better with amongst ourselves. When you embracing each other, it's a different type of feeling. Art does that. Like you say, therapy, that's what God gave us. We just go back to what God gave us.
That's right.
And now it's time. We want to thank y'all for coming. And
Well, thanks for having us.
well,
Thank you.
Let's get some any final thoughts there before
oh
we
yeah, I'm
wrap
not gonna
up.
leave you.
Oh, okay.
I ain't gonna like
You trying to
that.
wrap up the show?
No, I ain't gonna like you did that. I just want to thank them for coming so much because I maybe tell Lena more than anybody, and he know I tell him it's helped me so much where I'm at because when I have the luxury to go into that building and see the stuff they create, for me being a spoken word artist and I write about African. That stuff do something to me, man. I call him a lot, and he busy, so I don't want to be no bug. I call him, I say, yo, what you doing? I said, okay, I'll see you later. That's therapy for me, and it enhances me being a spoken word artist, things that I want to say to my community. But I don't have to say nothing. All y'all got to do is go down to MOKA and see what they put on them walls, and they will talk to you all.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And I'd
But-
like to mention my mother, Gussie,
Oh, yeah.
who was the hairdresser up at Creston.
Oh, she.
She could do some hair. And I think I can remember just being a little girl listening to the people talk. And that was my first, how she transformed women
Right.
with her.
Transformation.
Just through doing their
They
hair.
say it was
People
cute before,
still-
but she made them beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody came to Miss Richardson.
And that's the
They
same
came
thing.
to her, they came to her. You know, that's who they came to.
That's right.
And see, that's the village.
Walk out feeling like $1
And-
million.
and that's right.
Once they
And
left,
that's the
once they
same
left
thing
the
that we've
chair.
done.
Like a good
through-
hairdo, a haircut.
Right, right.
Yeah, and that's the same thing that we've done with MOKA, because it was a building that was slated for demolition when we got there.
Okay.
And we got it from the city for a little teeny bit of money. It
Right.
didn't cost hardly anything, and then got a mortgage
Right.
to add 2 stories and renovate it.
Okay.
You see, but it's that same, we just want people to know that you could take something that looks like it's going to fall down and you can beautify it.
Yeah, refurbish
Right.
things.
Possible to be-
Refurbish things.
Rather than tearing it down.
Exactly, just like people.
Yeah,
You can
that's
take
right.
somebody, look like they're going
You're
the
right.
wrong way, don't have anything, build them up, and they become something.
That's
Yeah.
right. And you do that through art.
Through
That's
art as well,
doing it through art.
exactly.
Yes.
Now, you did bring some art with you.
I did.
Can you bring some of it up?
This
and
is,
let's-
Mo, you want to talk about your bag?
Oh, this is a little hobby of mine.
Let's hold that up.
That's a Latigo.
Okay, oh, man,
It's a Latigo bag, and it's reversible.
okay.
It could be purple. If you flip it inside out.
Okay, I like this.
Nice
Flip
bag.
it off, man, I like, now what's this
And
here?
this is,
Let me do this.
let me see. She represents
Like that, Mike?
on Esther
Oh, okay,
from August Wilson play.
okay,
She represents those women that are timeless,
okay,
timeless quality about her. And on Esther in the play, she was, I think, 200-something years old, you know, and it kind of fantasy kind of way.
Right.
She started off as a woman who came through the Middle Passage, and she came into fruition through the Hill District, and she's the one that what people will go to for advice. We had a lady like that up Cresses too, and I remember Mother Diggs.
I know what you're gonna talk about. Now, see,
Mother
I
Diggs.
remember, and she used to always wear white all
Yeah,
the
she
time.
always wore white every day.
She always wore white.
And I lived right across the street from her, so it was
See
a
that?
fantastic vision of Mother Diggs.
Yeah.
You probably know more about her than I know.
No,
about her,
I
but-
don't. I was a kid, but I remember her. See, another thing as a kid, sometimes we let people scare us because we don't know about it.
Yeah.
But she didn't have that type of spirit to
No,
me.
she didn't.
She didn't have that type of spirit to me. And you could tell she was secure within herself.
Yeah, that's
She
true.
was. It was a certain peace about that lady.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's funny, I hadn't thought about her in years. And when you said that, I knew she was gonna say Mother Diggs.
Yeah.
But I remember her. She used to wear white, and
All
she
the time.
and then too, you know, another thing. I don't know, you know, if it was something that she was a holy. She had a certain smell about it. Remember that type of smell she had?
Oh, I never
No, it was a
noticed
certain.
that.
It was a holy smell. Like it wasn't a stink.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
just
yeah.
a smell. It
Yeah.
was a smell that you smelled. It was something different about that lady.
Oh, yeah. How people would go to her if you had any problems,
Yeah.
or wanted
Oh,
the
okay.
number, or
Hit the
you
number,
know,
yeah. I
you
remember.
had a problem with your man or your woman, you go to Mother
Okay.
Diggs. And she lived exactly across the street from me.
Mm.
So as a kid, I grew up watching and wondering, what's this? So they're sort of like these when I do these women, it's like evoking her
Right, her
spirit, the
spirit,
spirit of
her
these
spirit.
women that are mystics, are mystics and know what to do.
Speaking of one of the women you had, and it tickled me because I didn't know you got so many pieces that you had Katrina. You got a piece
that's
Katrina.
Mother Katrina,
oh,
yes.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
Mo had told me, and then I
Oh,
got
my
a piece that I
goodness.
wrote Katrina, and then
Yeah.
that piece, because I had never seen the art piece, and then when I seen the piece, I said, yeah, that was her. You know, now you wrote that years ago. I wrote
She did that
Katrina.
in New York.
Yeah,
Right,
but she
yeah,
did that years
in
ago.
New York.
I
It was
just-
after Katrina.
After Katrina.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
I did that after Katrina, but I didn't know you had it. You got a couple of pieces that I like us to collaborate from the artwork you have, the different things. I got a piece I'm waiting to put you all together with the art you have. It's called "There's Something in the Water." That's why I mentioned all the jazz people that you know, with all the pictures you got.
I play with these guys.
That's right. So, and that's why it's even more significant because it's personal with you. You know. So with the thing, it's really me shouting out to our hometown of all the great musicians and entertainers come here from Dakota State, from George Benson, Phyllis Hyman,
Phyllis
Ahmad
legends.
Jamal. You know, blow my mind. Earl Father Hines,
Yeah.
he come from Duquesne. I can see his
Yeah.
door from his shores to my front door. Ain't that something? I thought it was something in the water that made us great. I didn't know it was God. It was God, the living God of the water. See, it ain't just that. We got greatness in us. And the more that when she said, it hurt me. I didn't want to say no poem, but she mentioned the killing, the guns and the stuff like that.
yeah.
Because look at the greatness that's around us. Think of the greatness that we done killed ourselves.
Yeah.
And those are the people we need. We can't afford to lose any more warriors,
That's
y'all.
No,
true.
no.
We can't. You can't afford to be killing yourself and they killing you too.
Yeah.
But the thing about what I was to wrap up and I got from y'all, that you, because y'all good to all people, even though you do black art, I seen the way you navigate around people. And one of the things they put in my spirit, not just about the thing with the wife, was that it's great not only what they create, they are the people who carry the banner. There's only one race, the human race. And so it's even though they write, our stuff is strong from the black art they write that they create. But I watch them when they enter with people, and people of substance like them because they ain't never seen nothing like it.
Right. Right.
You ain't seen nothing like this. Not the Queen Charlotte made and Mobutu. I'm sorry, the creativity, because you know you gotta be creativity, whatever artist you are. And I watched them. We went together, so to buy some raw material. So I'm kind of being cool. I'm sitting back, and how they mind work together and what they're
They're
gonna
in
do.
sync.
So
They're
then
in
after he
sync.
told me, then I can see. I couldn't see what he was getting, and he told me what you do. This, the bop, the boom, the boom, and then I saw it, but I didn't see what they see. But they saw it together. God, that's strong.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, just give us some final thoughts to the viewing audience about your art, about your experience. I'll start with you first,
Yes,
Ms. Charlotte.
it's been a wonderful journey going through this art. A lot of times we have to encourage our children to explore the arts, and music is tragic to me that they don't have a lot of these music programs that they used to have in the
Yeah,
city.
they got rid of them, yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why we had so many wonderful musicians, because they were taught from an early
Early
age. Even my nieces, they didn't go into being musicians, but I think it helps your mind when you learn music. They're both brilliant ladies, and they were all my sister Kim, she played cello and with the
Okay.
teacher up in Park Terrace, and her daughters had the same teacher. And in the Hill District, no telling what happened with those music teachers, because there's been so many wonderful musicians
Right.
that came out of Pittsburgh, and I think a lot of it has to do with early musical training.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, see, while you were talking, it was like a story that just went by. Because in the beginning, the Hill District was a place where it was very diverse. Everybody had a new thing. You know, my final thought is these youngsters out here who think that what they're doing ain't nothing.
Ain't nothing new under the sun.
Think again, that's innovation. You might be the only one doing that. And if you do it and continue and believe in it and do it, eventually you become the best at it.
Right.
And then you take that where it doesn't exist, and there's where you'll find success.
Spoken like a true genius here.
Definitely,
Spoken
definitely.
like a
So
true
stay
genius.
true to yourself.
Stay true to yourself.
Get away from that television and that thing that's mindless. See,
video
music is it has to be played in order. It's a structure. It's a structure, and the more you practice it, the more you develop. And so that's the benefit of music and culture, to be able to do that and to be able to lay in it when everybody's telling you, get out, man, you better go get yourself a job. You better put that drum down. You ain't going nowhere with no drum. You know, I heard that a long time. That drum took me around the
Took you
world.
all over the place.
Around the world, it gave me an opportunity to meet all kinds of people in all walks of life.
True.
And
That's
I've
true.
met the boldest, the bravest, and the slyest of guys of mankind, which is
And I
an
can-
education in itself.
Yes, and I can see the
Michael
part
Vick
too.
is one of those guys that can come out off the top and tell it like it is. That's what I like
That's
about
right.
him.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
he's
He's
one
the
of a
truth.
kind. One of a
The truth.
All glory go to God. And I got to tell anybody, man, just be you. That's my thing to everybody.
Yeah.
You can only be you. You might admire things, like many things that I admire about y'all, and I give you credit for it. I'm never envious of nobody else. And I only wish what I wish for myself or want for my brother. That's not something just to say. That's something to strive for. And when you think like that, you do like that, that'll happen.
That's true.
Yeah.
We don't know how to act. That's why when they talk about the arts, think about this man and this sister here. It's a piece of wood that got hit by lightning. It's no good. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. This man will take it. I don't know if you got the piece that I smiled because the piece I told you about how voluptuous the piece was, they showed it a bit there. It was on there.
Okay.
When you go see these things, and it wasn't just him, it was other artists he collaborated with.
Right.
He mentioned a dude named Dingbat. I met him but when I first came. He said, Dingbat put the nails in this, but you ought to see the stuff we make. But more importantly, you ought to see the regalness of our people. You ought to see what the sisters that she create. It's a sisterhood that she make. When that's why I listened real intensely when she said the spirit on Esther. I listen. I talk a lot, but I listen. And when we listen to each other and we entwine, we hear each other. We don't listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we done lost the way, but her arts bring us back. That's why I
Exactly.
want people to go to MOKA. If we lost, they don't want you to write stuff in the history book. MOKA
Getting
will
rid of
take
history
you
books.
that. MOKA, the things this brother made, the things, the creativity to make, the pronounced African thing in them, and the way she carried herself as an African queen, remind me, we the people.
Hey, Mike, you did it again, the king and queen, Brother Mobutu and Queen Charlotte. Thank you guys. You are
Thank you for
hometown
coming.
heroes.
Thanks,
Pleasure.
man.
And
Appreciate it,
please,
Mike.
definitely check out MOKA. Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
So then you probably
Hey,
give
for
your-
Mike Vick, I'm
your
Luther
phone
Dupree.
number. Could we
And
give a phone
King
number?
and Queen,
Yes,
what
please.
was
So
the
you want to
phone
give your
number?
phone number so that they'll.
Give
Okay.
give
Wait, well,
give the
look-
gallery number.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's 718-249-7002 or 412-692-1444 because we are only open by appointment.
Appointment only.
So you
Okay.
have to call in order to go,
Exactly.
to enter.
Make sure you check out MOKA. For Mike Vick, I'm Luther Dupree. Please check us out on the website, scsportsworld.com.
One
Peace.
love. Peace, Pittsburgh.